Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sue. In today's video, I'll talk more about activity in PEGA, and I will show you guys how to use activity to update our inventory. So let's get started. First, you want to go to my GitHub, and you can see under PEGA exercise, I have this Office Update Inventory exercise 01 version ready for you. All you need to do is to click on it and download. Once you download that, go back to your PEGA instance and click Configuration, Application, Distribution, and import that file. Choose that file, click Next. Once that's done, you will see your case type looks like this. And the next step would be create a new rule set version. Okay, now we are ready to move on to the next step. Let's create a case together. As you can see, we have the select item list. You can add multiple items if you want, and as we change the name of our item, it's going to auto-populate the price. I set the default quality to be 1 because it makes sense. And here is a plus button that I can add more to it, or I can reduce the quality by clicking the minus button. So this is pretty much our setup, and our goal is to update inventory based on user selection. Right? So now we can take a look of our database. Right now we have 60 desks, 30 MacBook Air, and 50 chairs. If the user wanted to order 3 MacBook Air, then our inventory is going to change, right? From 30 to 27. How do we achieve that goal? Last time we talked about how to use activity to insert new record in order to update our database. So this time it's kind of similar. We're going to use the same method, which is activity, to help us achieve that goal. Let me open my process. We're going to put our activity under post-processing action, like we did last time. So open your flow action and click Save As. Make sure it's the highest rule set you have, so you will overwrite the previous version. And go to Action, scroll down, you see Post-Processing, and here you can run activity. Now this time we are going to update inventory. Again, we have to use specific method out of, there are tons of method for us to pick from, and how do we know which one to use under this circumstance? Well, I like to analyze our need first. So let's go back to my user case and take a look of what's going on here. Let me open my clipboard. Under the under the PY work page, you'll see the select items, right? This is our field group list name, select item. See, it captured the item that we selected. So this one is the MacBook Air, and the second one is chair. Now we know that PEGA already captured our user selection, so we are going to use this info to help us configure activity. What I want my activity to do is to run through each select item, like each item from the select item list. And as you can see, the quality for this one is 3. So my activity will grab this information and use some simple calculation. For example, the new inventory is going to be the previous inventory minus 3. I hope that makes sense. So it sounds like the first step, we are going to do some sort of loop to loop through each page under select items, right? Let's take a look how we do that. In our activity, you see there's a loop thing that you can click. And under the drop-down box, we have so many options. And if you don't know which one to pick, you can always go back to your clipboard. That might give you some idea. So when I look at it, I can see immediately those select item 1 and 2 are embedded section of select items, right? And select items is an embedded section for PY work page. So I'm going to go ahead, loop for each embedded page. This is asking for like which class are we going to loop. So it is Susu Office Data Select Item. Let me copy that, submit. For this step, you don't need to worry about the method. We're not there yet, but you do need to specify the step page. It is select items, right? Our second step is to create a new page for each one of the embedded page. So we need to add child page new. We call it Su page. I mean, you can call it whatever. And just think this Su page as a bridge that connect our current class to our database. Our database is Susu Office Data, Office Supplies. Okay. Come back to your step. Okay, so now we have a new page. How do we do the calculation? Add another step. If you remember in my previous video, we used the property set method. Right? So even though this time we're not just simply set a property, we are doing some math. We're using a calculation. But it is okay to use property set because now we can do the we're actually using Su page inventory to be the previous Su page inventory minus quality. And our final step is to save the changes. Make sure you specify the page you want to save. All right, let's Let me explain the logic behind again. First, we want to loop through each embedded page of select items, right? We will get select item 1 and select item 2, depending on how many your users select. After that, we're going to create a new page and set a property, which is the new inventory to be the previous inventory minus quality. And finally, we will save this object. Oh, make sure to click right now. So that's basic logic. However, we are missing a very important method. Without it, our activity actually doesn't run as we expected. So I know right now it's incomplete activity, but I wanted to show you what it looks like right now. Okay, so first let's take a look of our inventory 60, 30, and 50. Let me open my case. And let's do MacBook Air, just leave it as 1. Also maybe do chair. Okay, once I hit submit, it's going to run the activity we just created together, right? Okay, we come back and refresh our database. What we want to do, what we were expecting is that 30 to be 29 and the chair, now it should be only 49. But in reality, if this allows me to refresh, hello? Okay, here we go. So we are actually inserting a new record instead of changing existing ones. So why did that happen? In my last video, we used the same, not exactly the same, but similar combination of method. We create a new page, we say property, we save object, right? But this time, because we are actually going into my database and changing existing data, so we need to have another method called object open. Oops, it's actually here. Object open. By having this object open, PEGA will finally notice like what we're trying to do. We're trying to open existing database instead of creating a new record. Okay, so where do we need to put it? Let me move it up. We wanted to open it. Okay, ooh, can't add none. I'm not going to add children. I'm just trying to move it up. I'm thinking right after we create a new page, we can do this object open. Here we go. So page. Under the method parameters, PEGA is asking you which class do you want to open. I wanted to open my database class. So let me copy this over here and lock it. We want to lock it. You want to lock your instance if you plan to change and save the instance or delete it. Also, for the release on commit, you want to select the box if you select the lock box and want the system to release the lock when the next commit method occurs for this instance. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Now it's asking you based on what, like what's your identifier to open which record. We know that PYGUID is our unique ID, right? So we're looking for this PYGUID. How do we associate, how do we know which PYGUID is the current one? If you look over here, you see select item 1. The value for the item 1, the item 1 name is PYGUID. And that's how I configure to make sure our following task is easier. And property value would be, so the property value would be our primary order supplies dot select items dot name, right? So this is our primary select item dot name. Again, we have more than one select items. How does PEGA know which one are we referring to? PEGA doesn't. That's why we need to add a keyword current to specify, okay, once you look to this first page, we're going to grab this first page's name, which is the PYGUID, and use that as a key identifier. Okay, let's save that and go back to our case, create a new one. Just select the MacBook Air again. This time let's do 2. So right now we have 30 MacBook Air. After, I'll do one more desk. After we hit submit, our MacBook Air should be 29, right? It worked pretty well, to be honest. Both our MacBook Air and the chair inventory have been updated. Now we just need to delete this distract. If you're only interested in the activity, you can probably stop watching from now. Some of you guys asked me how to configure property that can calculate price, total price. If you already know how to do that, you can skip the rest of the video. But I'm going to talk about how to do that since I have this example already. So as you can see, my select item is a field group list. What I wanted to do is to add another field under select items only, make it calculate only. It is not going to just allow me to add a field under select item. As you can see, this is just creating a new field that has nothing to do with our field group list. So I'll delete that and go to my data types. Over here, you can add a field. Let me call it line item total, and change the type to currency. Click the gear button. Select, this is a calculated field, read only. And it's asking you to select a function. We are going to, the line item total is going to be price multiply quality, right? So it is a custom dot quality times price. Okay. save that one. See if it did anything. Okay, it didn't do anything because we need to configure the view as well. You can go to Live UI, click this section, and open it. All right, so we need to add additional field over here. Let me go to, first you want to select the last one, the whole thing, by clicking the circle, and then add. Now you can say the value is for line item, total price, right? Total price is for this one. The property, make sure to change presentation from auto to read only. Okay, now we need to save. Once we save that, you can go back to your, go back to your work portal, refresh this page. You can see we have line item total price, and once I select chair, it is over here. I can add quality. It will also update my line item total price. Now if I have two items, right, and I need the total price for both of them, how do I do that? Again, let me go back to, where's my order supply case? I'm just going to add a separate field called total price. You can imagine it is still currency and calculated. Now this time think about what method should we use. Are we going to use any multiply? Are we going to use any average or any of that? No, we're just simply adding this number and this number, right? So that's why we're using sum of function. Sum of line item total, which is this one. All right. Once we submit that, oops. Hit submit. Refresh your page again. You'll see right now there's no total price because we haven't selected anything yet. Well, it still doesn't show my total price. I would assume it's because the refresh strategy only refresh this specific area. So we need to add another refresh strategy. Where is my section? Over here. So every time we change the name of item, we are going to refresh other section. So let's do them quickly. All right, now it's working just fine. We can add multiple items. Let's do this. Another cool thing that you can try is to configure a authority matrix. Based on the total price, you can decide, or I should say, you can let PEGA to decide which manager this case should be routed to instead of just automatically update inventory. So you can add another step, approval or reject. And do a cascading routed based on, you can do reporting structure or authority matrix, which I have another video talking about how to configure authority matrix, which is also known as decision table. And based on that, you will be routed to different department or different manager. So that's it with today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you have any questions. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.